Today in the world of cannabis, research shows that indoor commercial cannabis production is causing negative environmental impacts. A Colorado state bill seeks to require schools to store and provide cannabis medicines to students. And a freshman Republican representative from Virginia urges the governor to reject statewide cannabis legalization. It's Tuesday, March 9th, and this is your Trichomes Morning Buzz.
Broadcasting live from the Trichomes.com studios in Southern California. It's time for your Morning Buzz. We bring you late-breaking news that keeps you up to date with what's happening in the cannabis industry.
First up, in a report by Gizmodo, as more U.S. states legalize cannabis, increased commercial production of the plant may be hotboxing the planet, causing negative climate change and environmental impacts. New research released in the journal Nature Sustainability aimed to measure the climate effect of indoor cannabis production across the United States. Policymakers and consumers aren't paying much attention to environmental impacts of the cannabis industry. Jason Quinn, associate professor at Colorado State University and lead author of the study, wrote in an email, "There is little to no regulation on emissions for growing cannabis indoors. Consumers aren't considering the environmental effect either. The industry is developing and expanding very quickly without consideration for the environment." The authors discovered that for every 2.2 pounds of cannabis flower, one of these indoor cultivation warehouses produced between 5,033 and 11,428 pounds of carbon equivalent emissions. In other words, an eighth of cannabis has a carbon footprint of up to 41 pounds. Researchers say that rather than doing away with indoor growing, which is crucial in areas where outdoor growing isn't possible, the industry must make sustainability a focus of its operations.
And next, Marijuana Moment reports that a bill before the Colorado State Legislature would require schools and school districts to provide a policy allowing their employees to store and administer medical cannabis prescribed by a doctor for a student. Senate Minority Leader Chris Holbert said that the bill is the most important bill he's sponsoring this session, after meeting constituents Amber and Brad Wan, who discovered a way to treat their son Ben's life-threatening epileptic seizures with a bottle of Charlotte's Web CBD. Holbert changed his mind and is parting with Senator Julie Gonzalez on the bill. As a person that comes from a community fairly consistent in being opposed to marijuana legalization in Colorado, I'm willing to put my hand up and say I was wrong about cannabis-based medicine, said Holbert. I'm perfectly willing to have conversations with constituents, doubters, to say you're wrong. You need to meet these people. According to Holbert, when a school nurse inquired about Ben's seizure-free status in 2014 and heard about the cannabis-derived drug, they reported the Wans for child endangerment. It pisses me off that my school board would somehow decide which kid in our school district lives and which one dies, Holbert said.
Last up, in a report by Marijuana Moment, a Virginia Republican representative is asking the state's governor to oppose the cannabis legalization bill awaiting their approval. Freshman Representative Bob Goodman argued that legalization is a bad idea, in part because he claims cannabis is a gateway drug to other substances, and the federal law correctly labels cannabis as a controlled substance. If marijuana is legalized, those who have been profiting from its sale in the current illegal drug trade will undoubtedly refocus and intensify their efforts in the sale and distribution of more dangerous drugs, as has happened in other states that have legalized cannabis for recreational use, wrote Goodman, adding that this is assuredly why a large majority of states have still not moved to legalize marijuana. Currently, 14 states have legalized recreational cannabis, while 35 states have legalized medical cannabis use. Goodman previously sparked debate by supporting measures declaring the U.S. Supreme Court's legalization of same-sex marriage to be unconstitutional and urging the restriction of transgender people's access to public restrooms. They went on to say that legal cannabis sales is not a sound policy for generating revenue, citing data from smart approaches to marijuana.
And that was today's Buzz. Thanks for listening. For more cannabis news and insights from industry professionals and a place to discuss these stories and others, visit Trichomes.com.
And be sure to catch up with all of our other cannabis industry-related podcasts like Hash It Out, The High Ground, or Careers in Cannabis, wherever you get your podcasts. For Trichomes.com, I'm Devin Liao.
And I'm David Fortin. Catch you next time.